Are you tired of that watered down gospel? Are you looking for a straightforward message with no punches pulled? Then welcome to High Octane with your host, Cindy Flowers.
Good morning, and thanks for joining me again today for another broadcast of High Octane. Today, we're getting into something pretty heavy, so we definitely needed that with parental discretion. It's not a happy topic, I will tell you that, but it's a topic that needs rest nonetheless. We're going to be talking about kids in drag, but we're going to lead up to that. But that is pretty much what the focus is right there. But I want to talk to you and teach you a little bit about, if you do not know what it is, I'm going to teach you about what Bacha Bazi is. Okay, Bacha Bazi is, they want to call it that it's a tradition of something that they do over in Afghanistan. And I guess it's also picked up in Pakistan. I haven't heard so much about Pakistan as it is in Afghanistan. It's illegal. It was, so they would have to go underground or certain hidden places to do this. And what Bacha Bazi means, Pashto, is Bacha means boy, and Bazi means fun, play. So boy play. And what they do is the rich, the very rich businessmen, the military over there, the dignitaries, very high up people, well known, dignitaries, tribal leaders, that sort of thing. They're a type of elitists. They will pick up young boys that are always in the poor areas of the country. And they will pick them up, and they will, of course, just like a groomer, they will offer them things, food, candy, stuff that they can't get at home because they don't have the money for it. And they, PlayStation, and they recruit them. And then once they've gotten them, what they do is they begin to train them. And what they do is they train them to dance provocatively. They dress them like women, like girls, men. They put makeup on them. They teach them songs, very provocative songs. And then they are invited into these parties where all these men sit around and they get entertained by these boys dressed up like women with makeup and everything, and they do their dance. And then around them, they will buy them. And when they buy them, that's theirs. I don't know. Some will hang on to them and keep them at their home. They live at their home. And some will buy them, and then they're allowed to live at their parents' house. They have them there. They have them there for to abuse them sexually. And sometimes not at first until they're maybe a little more trained, but that is exactly what they are used for. I have some articles, an article here that I want to share with you. I'm going to just go through it a little bit, just give a little bit of a skim through it, actually. And this story is from ECPAT USA, and it was written November 20th, 2020, and it's called American Bacha Bazi. And the story was written by Sean M. Wheeler. And if you are interested in this article, you can email me and let me know. My email's right there on the screen. You can email and let me know, and I will send you the link so you can read it if you're interested. I advise you to read it so you can educate yourself. And this is from a person who was involved with it. And he tells his story and things that what they've seen. You will, if you talk to a vet, a combat vet that's come back from Afghanistan, that spent some time there, they know all about it. Also, too, we remember the Green Beret that was arrested, and Obama wanted to strip him of being in the military because he did not understand when he was over there in Afghanistan, and there was, I think it was a military police officer or something to that nature, a grown man, and he was sexually abusing this young boy, and it was just instinct for this soldier to run over there and stop it. But he didn't he was told, that's what they do. It's just part of what they do. We shouldn't interfere in it because the human rights, it can be considered a human rights violation. But to them, they say, oh, well, this is what they do. And it says, I will get back to that. Just want to remind you that's what was happening there. And if you remember that. If you're not familiar with it, I will be going back and touching on it. But let's go back to Sean's story. I just lost my whole screen, everything. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Design. I mean, there's a lot here. His experience went over and what he saw and who he was this gentleman here was a survivor of sex trafficking that wrote this article. And when he took a job in Afghanistan as a military contractor. And that is when he was in Operation Enduring Freedom, and he was living in Kabul. And that is when he discovered the Bacha Bazi, or the dancing boys, as they call it. And they survive unnoticed in the open, and they barely exist as victims in a world of sexual exploitation. Some of this is extremely heartbreaking to read, and there's so much to it. But he even compares when he was trafficked that this is almost the same thing. Almost the exact same thing, because they're being taken, they're groomed, they're being lured, and then they're being taken in. Then this is where I make the connection with the drag. And that is these young drag boys that are being, I looked in, and I will give you that information right now, where let's see, Desmond Napoles, he's 10, but he's famous, and I'm sure everybody has seen him on the TV. He's famous, and he's called Desmond is Amazing. He's 10 years old, and he is known as a child drag queen. And there was another one named Stefan. He's 10, and he's from Leeds, and he was performing in Costa Rica. In South Wales, Fabian, he started at age 6, his mother did, putting makeup on him and such. Then there are, to get into more of that, where you'll be able to see these kids and what they go through, and how they're put together and put out there. I mean, these kids, these are famous drag queen boys, okay? And they do exactly what the Bacha Bazi boys, the dancing boys, do. They wear dresses, they sing provocative songs, they dance provocatively. For whom? They say, oh, they entertain, the men and women, but it's the men. It's the men that are enjoying it. It's the men that get a kick out of it. And the reason why I say that, because drag queens are men. And when, going back very quickly, when Ron DeSantis had made that declaration that the pride people could have their pride parade, they can knock themselves out in their parade and whatever, but there's no kids, no kids. And because he said there's no children that would be there, no children, they called the whole thing off. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? I see them looking more at the boys because they're men dressing like women. They're and they're groomers. That's what they do. I mean, they entertain, but why the need to have the children there, right? And so with that, now I'm going to give you a list of the documentaries about kids in drag, where you can see and learn what I've learned. And it's important that you learn this because it's happening. Okay? It's happening. And, people are like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, how can parents do that? And then you get on, then it's business as usual. You get on with your day. No, we as Christians have got to do something. Yeah, we protest, but there's got to be more. There's got to be more. We got to come after these kids that are in drag, because that is basically what they're doing. They're entertaining, just like these boys in Afghanistan. Okay, first one, you can get it on YouTube. It's called Kids in Drag Documentary. And there's episodes 1 and 2. I advise you to watch both. I did. Then there is another one, and this one is another popular, and isn't that sickening that these kids are already popular as drag queens? Already have disgusting names pinned to them, and these drag queen men love it. And it's already been said what goes on at these drag queen parades, what goes on behind the scenes at drag queen performances, drag queen shows. Okay, here's the names of, in this documentary, Stephen, Jason, Bracken, and Nemus, also known as Queen Lactatia. A little boy with the name Queen Lactatia. It's called Drag Kids Full Documentary. Okay, you can get them on YouTube. Drag Queens Full Documentary, championing self-expression and the people that support it. Very important that you watch these. Okay, because this is what is happening. This is what is coming. This is what doing in school. This is what these drag queen story hour. This is what these drag queens in the schools, the drag queen performances. This is what they're doing, and we have to be aware of what they're doing and look at what they're doing to the kids. Drag kids. Slaying the Runway. That's a video. That's just a quick video, but it's to show you. It's to show you RuPaul. I don't know if you've ever heard of RuPaul. He's that famous drag queen guy, and he has a show and everything. But these are his drag queen people. They're all mixed in with these kids, making them famous. Now, the other ones, the other documentaries. There's one more. I'm sorry. The Drag Kids, featuring Queen Lactatia, or Nemesis, as they call it, Nemus, however you pronounce that name. That is Drag Kids CBC. That's the Canadian documentary. What's happening over in Canada, and following this famous drag kid, because he's from Canada. Then there is. These are the ones that were hanging with RuPaul in New York. Catastrophe, Jest, and Lactatia. That's the name. Little kids, 10 years old, 8 years old, with these kind of names. Next one, this is regarding the Bacha Bazi boys. This is a hard documentary to get through. These are hard. They're sickening, but they need to be seen. They need to be seen, and I'm gonna go full circle on this, but I'm just laying down this right now, so I don't get carried away, because I have a big mouth. I talk a lot, and I have a habit of jumping tracks a lot, but I always come back. But this is for me, so I don't forget to give you really good information. Okay, The Dancing Boys of Afghanistan. It's a 2010 documentary. And this was Frontline. I seen it, and they were allowed to come in and film everything, but they just weren't allowed to use last names, first names, cover them up. There's also the other one, Bacha Bazi Boys RT documentary. Catch that one too. And I am sure that once you start that video and watch the other video, it will lead you to new ones that I have not seen as of yet. Okay, what are some of the injuries that these dancing boys receive having to do this? They don't do it willingly. They are told that, hey, come with us. We'll give you this. We'll give you candy. We'll give you all this good food. We may even help out your family because you're poor. You can give you PlayStation stuff. We'll give you new clothes. We'll give you cool trainers, and lure these young kids. I mean, they're poor enough where anything looks good. That's why they only go for the boys in poor areas. Okay. Some of the injuries that these boys endure, and it's been told, and this came from the Afghanistan Independent Rights Commission, and I'll go into that in a minute as well. They get beaten, hemorrhaging, internal injuries, protrusion of the intestines, throat injuries, heavy internal bleeding, broken bones, broken limbs, fractures, broken teeth, strangulation, and in some cases, more cases than not, death. And also that can be put with the kids that get trafficked. If they do not, these are kids, this is what happens to them when they don't want to go along with it, when they find out what's about to happen, that they were bought, they were sold, and they were paid for, and now they have to do this with these grown men, and they fight it, they scream and fight. This is what happens to them. Or they get threatened that something bad's going to happen to their family, or they're going to poison their dog, or something terrible like that. They're going to be beaten. And so they have to do this. Let's go to the drag kids really quickly. Everybody thinks it's innocent. Oh, look, it's cute. Oh, drag queens, these boys, you're not born to do that. Little boys are not born to and be destined to be drag queens. They are persuaded, they are pushed, they are, oh, what a good boy that you wear that dress for mommy. Those kinds of things, but they don't understand what they're playing with. Let's bring this in. First, let me about the and I do about the Green Beret. And while I'm waiting for that to come up, it doesn't look like it will come up at the moment. Nope, it doesn't want to come up. Imagine that. If remember, he got arrested and he got put in jail, and it went straight being in the military and everything that he did because he beat that man. He didn't know. He didn't understand it, and they said the reason was, well, we understand, it's violation of human rights. However, it's something that they do. It's their culture, what they do. So you can't, we need to kind of just no, it's not a culture. That's what they do. It's illegal, and the Taliban was even against it, and they said that against Islamic law, right? So, if it's now, since everything's Taliban is kind of backed up, now they're coming out in the open, and they're just, I mean, it's happening. It's happening. And then you look over here at the United States. Here, this guy who worked over there recognized how closely related it is to America, what's happening in America. The trafficking, the selling of boys, making them into drag, dancing around in dresses, and people are welcoming them, and then they call us, oh, you're homophobic. No, you are putting your children in danger. They just do realize that these kids don't. I often wonder when they get in there, they wonder, are they ever going to be able to get out? The only time that they say that they are released is when they're old enough. So some of these that are taken, they're taken at 5, even kindergartners. Okay, so let's go over here to America, and these parents doing the drag queens or drag kids, and they think it's great. They're becoming more and more and more and more, putting the kids out there in the pride parades, letting them being exposed to sick, deviant nudity, and they're dancing and they're applauding them, and these perverts are out there, telling these kids, this is great, oh, you're wonderful, this is wonderful, and contaminating their minds with this. Okay, and you see how close. I used to wonder a couple years ago when I learned about Bazi from some friends of mine that just came back from Afghanistan. They did a couple tours over there, and they were the ones that taught me about it. They turn a blind eye to it. And you know what? I'm turning a blind eye to this too. You know what they say? Oh, isn't that terrible? Isn't that terrible? Where are the parents? Oh, go on. You know what? Now I'm going to go after this, people. You ready? Church, pastors, where are you talking about this real stuff that's happening? Why aren't you talking about it to the congregation? Why are you not teaching the congregation about sex trafficking? Why are you not teaching them, showing about the Bacha? Because you know what? We may not be able to go over there and go, hey, stop it. But we need to pray for them. Because they need Jesus too. And just because they're over there and they might be unreachable to a lot of us because they can get away with saying, it's our culture, it's what we do. They're not far from being prayed for. And we need to pray for them. We need to let people know, what is this? What is going on here? That's not even legal, but they're doing it anyway. What they do here is not legal, but anyway, and we just turn, it's almost like there's a war with parents. There are parents being to protect their kids, going into the schools to protect them from and these disgusting books. And then you got the parents that are fighting against those parents, saying there's nothing wrong, they should learn about it, they should be open and learn. Those are the parents. Has parents today, is that the first step of grooming? The first groomers before they set you up to the next set of groomers? Has that happened? Has parents today been so with this about that they're actually their children grooming them, that they're handing them over to the Molech? I mean, it's bad enough that they're doing it with abortion, but they're now, these people are doing it, and they're applauding their kids, and they're sending their kids out to do things and leaving them in the hands of their drag queens to spend time with them. Parents, what is the matter? We got to pray for them too. We got to talk about it from pulpit. We have to call these parents out and going, what are you doing? You need to be delivered. You are the first contact. Don't immediately, this. They have to be shown. They have to be around it. Have to be exposed. What are these parents doing? I go back to you again, church, pastors, talk about it. Bring it up, talk about it. Yes, it's ugly. Yes, it's disgusting. Yes, it's sickening. Yes, it's heartbreaking. But we as a church are supposed to stand up and fight against this dark, evil age, are we not? And so many pastors that I don't want to talk about that. No, people are going to leave. I don't want to talk about that. Oh my gosh, can you imagine what people will say? People will come up to me after service and just rip me apart and go, and I'm going to take my money out of here. We will not listen to that. Really? That's not what God has called us to do. He has called us to fight against these things. And like Compost said, he's a pastor. He said it's not that things are getting darker, it's that God is exposing it. So we're now seeing this is how dark things are, truly. So now you know about a little bit about Bacha Bazi if you haven't known about them before. Please look at the videos, watch the videos, educate yourself. Educate yourself on these drag kids and watch the parents. It's disgusting, it's sickening. We as Christians need to come against this. We need to fight this, whether we're on our hands and knees begging God, praying for the protection of these children and praying against what these parents want to do to them. Right? Isn't that what we're called to do? It's till everyone hears. How many kids do you think that get get put into the dancing boys? They had no idea that's what actually happens to them. They get sold and sexually abused over and over and over again. And if they don't do it, they get beaten so badly to the point that the protruding intestines, busted teeth. Children, kindergartners, people cried about what happened to these kids that got shot by the transgender. Look at what these children go through, and then you walk away and go, well, that's their culture. No, it's the little children. They don't know any. They can't pick where they live. We're supposed to pray for them. Please educate yourself on this. I'm not going to hide. I'm going to be the one that's going to bring it up. Why? Because I'm sitting in the trenches. That's what God's called me to do. And I'm digging up all this muck. You want to talk about, let's drain this. This is what is in the swamp. Look at it. We've got to talk about it in the churches so we can pray against it, pray and rescue, try to do what we can to rescue them. If all we can do is lift these people up in prayer. I mean, I know that the Christians over in Afghanistan are doing it, are praying for their country. We need to do it too. This needs to come to a stop because it's here in America, because they're after our kids. Pastors, Sundays, youth pastors, what are you doing to educate your children? The kids, how are you arming them to watch out for strangers? They got to hear it from the churches too. They have to be aware. They have to hear it, not just at home, not just at school, not on the TV. Okay, kids, got to be careful. We got to watch out for strangers. They need to hear it from the church too. They need to hear it. Well, what does God say? How do I do this? What should I do? What should I look for? The church needs to stand up. Stand up and stop being a coward. Stop being cowards. We're called to be, we're the church. We're called to fight. People talk about, I got my armor on. Yeah, well, you got your armor on. So what good is it if you're just walking around in it? You're not doing anything in it. There's dragons you need to slay. And most of the time your fighting will be done on your knees. But this is the kind of stuff that we have got to tackle. And I'm coming up to my last 5 minutes, and I just want to do an overview. Yeah, I'm mad. I'm sick of it. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted at the parents. Maybe I should do another continuation or a series about the parents. What's the matter with these parents? What's happened today? What's gotten into them? Where a person that's so addicted to crack cocaine that they will sell their child for a $10 hit of crack, or get a little bit of meth, they will sell their child to the drug dealer. Of course the child ends up dead. But do you see the mindset? We got to pray against this. There's more out there. Oh yeah, I will be bringing it. Trust me, I'll be bringing it. You may want to not, turn off, not watch me anymore, but that's okay, because you know what? Jesus offended people with the truth. This is the truth, whether you like to hear it or not. This is the truth. And I just pray that you will take on what I said, that you will go in and look up the videos and watch the videos, watch the documentaries on these drag kids, watch the documentary on the Bacha Bazi, the dancing boys, and you're going to see the comedy of it. You're going to see how many of you are educated in sex trafficking, that you will know what to do if you go on a train or a plane or you're waiting in the terminal. How would you recognize that somebody's guy is trafficking this girl to another state, or trafficking 2 girls out of the country? Do you know how to recognize? What do you do if a boy comes up to you and you're coming out of the store and he's crying and says, help me, help me. They're trying to take me across the state lines. They're trafficking this child. What do you do? Do you walk away? Or do you this isn't any of my business. I don't want to get involved. I don't want it coming back on me. Or do you get involved? Do you call the police? Do you go, wait here or stay with me, take them in the store and call the cops? What do you do? Do you know what to do? Why don't you educate yourself? You know, when I tell you to boot up and suit up, I'm not just saying that just because it's a hey, that's a really cute saying. It's pretty cool. No, this is all part of booting up and suiting up. You people, the Trump, the Trump supporters, drain the swamp. Hello, hello. This is draining the swamp. This is draining the swamp. So please, again, email me if you want the link to the article and watch those videos. Thanks again for joining me today. Yeah, it was a hard pill to swallow today. Totally red pilling. And you know what? I should do more of that on this show. Expect it. Expect it. So be warned. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Keep your lamps full. That means constantly keep yourself squeezed so you have the very best of you, can produce some good oil. So it is the Lord that they see through you. Secondly, stay booted and suited and fight. Fight. We've got a fight on our hands, a horrible fight. This is only just the top of it. And until next time, this is High Octane, and I'll see you next week.
Are you tired of that watered-down gospel? Are you looking for a straightforward message with no punches pulled? Then welcome to High Octane with your host, Cindy Flowers.